text, chapter 18. Here's what the Master says. There is nothing outside you. Ooh. That is what you must ultimately learn. For it is the realization that the kingdom of heaven is restored to you. So everything is a result of how you think, of what you're thinking. For God created only this, and he did not depart from it, nor leave it separate from himself. Remember, ideas never leave their source. So you are an idea in the mind of God. At all times, there's nothing outside of you. That is what you must ultimately learn. For it is the realization that the kingdom of heaven is restored to you. Okay, then he says, for the kingdom of heaven is the dwelling place of the Son of God, who left not his Father and dwells not apart from him. Wow, I'm going to take that literally. Heaven is not a place or a condition. It's merely an awareness of perfect oneness. So we get out of the split mind, we choose through desire. My desire is to know myself as God created me. That's what I want to know. That's what I want. If you got up every single morning with that desire only in your heart, you could have everything. Everything. Because God is everything. So then Jesus says, heaven is not a place or a condition. It is merely an awareness of perfect oneness and the knowledge that there is nothing else. There's no split mind. There's no conflict. There's all those things you're interpreting, all those things you're judging, all that stuff. This oneness knows nothing about that. And you are one with this oneness, but you are dreaming that you're not. So there's nothing outside this oneness and nothing else within. Wow, that's like happy truth right there. That's just happy truth. Accept the atonement for yourself, okay? Today and every day. Today I'm accepting the atonement for myself. I am at one with my Father. And dear God, please wake me up. Holy Spirit, wake me up, zap me, and bring me back out of this dream world when I begin to judge, when I begin to interpret what I'm seeing, when I begin to go into fear. Zap me out of it, because my desire is you. Reinterpret my story. Help me to see it differently, because I want to feel, I want to have this heartfelt experience of oneness. Of oneness. Okay. When we accept the atonement, we are saved. And what are we saved from? The conflict that never was. Because the conflict that we are believing in comes from the ego, and the ego isn't real. So we are saved by accepting the atonement. That's for me, that is such a beautiful statement. That makes me smile and want to amp up the desire for God. Until you have accepted this, and what is that? That you can't reconcile two opposing thought systems, truth and illusion. Once we accept that, then you will attempt an endless list of goals you cannot reach. A senseless series of expenditures of time and effort, hopefulness and doubt, each one as futile as the one before, and failing as the next one surely will. And what you're trying to solve is this unsolvable problem externally, which is a problem of guilt, because it's the guilt in the mind that you've projected, but you're trying to solve it in the unreal world. And because it's not solvable in the world, you'll stay on that hamster wheel, chasing, seeking, and never finding. The only way to correct it is at the level of thought. It is the mind that you're thinking, the ego's mind, or with the Holy Spirit. When you're thinking with the ego's mind, you're not thinking at all. You are hallucinating and you are projecting images onto the screen that you make real. It's like the images on the screen, the substance, the matter that we see in this world comes from an idea, a thought. So by trying to fix the substance, change the matter, nothing's changing because it didn't change the thought. You just moved your furniture around. You tried to fix it by something in this dream world. And the problem is idea. Ideas never leave their source. As you focus on it and it becomes, it's negative, it takes on density, you could say. It takes on form. It becomes a substance, earth, like Taurus. And then it seems so real. But it is a dream figure, a dream idol that started as a thought, I don't like her. And then you got to experience someone not liking you. Right? Oh gosh. You have a thought in your mind, oh, this world is so bad. And now the thought starts to vibrate, becomes denser and denser, you could say. It takes form, becomes substance, earth, water, fire, air, becomes matter. And you get to experience the idea, the thought in your mind. So what is the point of trying to change things in the world without changing the mind? And it's so funny, people will say, they have a big story about something. Do you have a story about someone? And it goes on forever. The forever story about your sister-in-law, the forever story about your mother-in-law, the forever story about whoever. And it's not a good story. It's a story that's based on your own guilt in the mind. You think you're separate from God, and now you've projected it onto that person you're telling the story about, and you get to experience the exact thing that you said about them. You feel it. And then you're like, trying to change them, trying to get them to shut up, trying to get them to be what you want them to be. No, they are simply vibrating the thought you're holding in your mind. They are the substance, made form, matter, according to the thought in your mind. That's why we're so insane. That's why Gandhi said, be the change you seek in the world. Change your mind about yourself. I am what God created. And as the I am that, I choose the atonement, and I choose to see things differently. And if I don't, Holy Spirit, be with me now and change my perception about this. Change my mind. I want the miracle behind this. What is going on? And the Holy Spirit will say, well, honey, you know what's wrong with you? You still think that you're not with God. You still think that you have separated from God, and now God's going to come and get you and punish you, and you're trying to hide your guilt, so you threw it on your mother-in-law. Oh, you're still trying to hide your guilt, so you threw it on that person. All your judgments about that person is your guilt, and all they did was mirror it back. But here, this is my interpretation of it. It's you forgetting who you are. But be of good cheer, because I am with you, and I am going to show you that it means nothing. All it was for you to forgive it. It was placed there for you to forgive it, to root those thoughts out of your mind that are conflicted thoughts in the split mind. This is such powerful work. So Jesus says, problems that have no meaning cannot be resolved within the framework they are set. Seeming problems in this world. The only problem we have is perceptual. If my mind is aligned with the ego, then I'm going to send all my senses out to report back to me proof of the separation that never happened. But I'll want proof because I want to be right, because that's what the ego wants. The ego wants to be right about what it's interpreting. That's why we have so many opinions, and they're all nothing. They don't mean anything because they didn't come from oneness. They came from duality. They came from fear. They came from the guilt in your mind. So how can you resolve something in this world that doesn't exist in truth? How can you resolve it with something else from this world, which is another crazy thought in your mind that you think you can use to fix the problem, because you have a big problem called, I can fix the world because I'm bigger than God. I know. Can you find areas in your life where you're doing that?